Hey, what's up, everybody? Hammerheart Metal Reviews here once again, doing another discography countdown of one of my favorite bands. Today we're doing another thrash band, and it is Testament. Definitely one of my all-time favorite thrash bands. Maybe not my number one favorite. I do like Megadeth a little bit more, but Testament is fucking awesome too. They'd be right there in the list of my thrash bands. What can you say about these guys? One of the originators. Sure, they're not in the big four, but they fucking should be. I mean, they're fucking classic. So goddamn good. From the Bay Area, like most of the big-ass fucking thrash bands. And they just started their career with so many fucking classic albums. And they're still going today. And they're actually like heavier today than they ever have been. They're a thrash band that took the trajectory into almost like death metal territory, but still with that thrash undertone. And they've just brought their sound together. Their lineup is sick. And I fucking love these guys. They've got 12 studio albums. I'm going to run through them from my least favorite down to my favorite. So let's get right into it. Coming in at number 12 from 2016 is Brotherhood of the Snake. I wouldn't say this is a bad album. I just didn't find it that memorable. There's not that many catchy hooks or songs in it as compared to some of their other albums. I'd give this one like a 6 out of 10. It just felt like a disappointment to me. Like it came out, there's a couple albums before that were absolutely awesome. This one just fell short of that mark. The title track is cool, but overall, this just isn't an album I go back to that much. Coming in at number 11 is definitely their heaviest album. It's almost like a straight up death metal album, but with a little bit of undertones of thrash, is Demonic from 1997. I wouldn't say I don't like this album. It's definitely fucking heavy. Some of the songs are really catchy and crunchy. The Burning Times, Together as One. I just can't put it on the same level as lots of their other stuff because they just have some catchier, thrashier albums. I do like the heaviness. I love death metal, but this just didn't quite hit the mark. I prefer some of their other stuff. Now let's get to those. Into the top 10. At number 10 from 2012 is Dark Roots of Earth. Kind of similar to Brotherhood of the Snake, I just didn't find this one that memorable. There's still some decent songs on here, like Native Blood and the title track Dark Roots of Earth, but this is probably a 7 out of 10 album. I just wasn't blown away by it, and when I listen to a fucking modern thrash album, I need to be blown away by it to put it on continual listen, otherwise I'm just going to go back to the old classics that I love. And this one didn't do that, and that's why it's a little bit farther down on my list. Coming in at number 9 is their new album from last year, 2020, Titans of Creation. Definitely an improvement over Dark Roots of Earth and Brotherhood of the Snake, but it still doesn't have the lasting effect that would put it higher on the list. Like, the lineup on here is sick. I mean, you got Skolnick and Peterson, of course, Chuck Billy. Then you got DeGiorgio and Hoagland on the back end, like laying the groundwork with bass and drums. So you'd think based on that it's just going to be a masterpiece. But it's not quite. There's still some fucking catchy-ass songs on here. Night of the Witch, heavy as fuck. It's awesome. Children of the Next Level, really fucking fast. Like, this album is definitely heavy and thrashy, and I do enjoy it, but I just couldn't put it higher than this. Coming in at number 8 from 1992 is The Ritual. This is probably their most mainstream album. Like, they're shot at kind of following like the Black Album or Countdown to Extinction. They followed in that concept of, hey, let's write maybe some more stripped down, not as fast songs. But I actually do like this album. Electric Crown's really fucking catchy, and the ballad on here is one of my favorite by them, and Testament writes a good-ass fucking ballad. Return to Serenity. Absolutely awesome. That's definitely my favorite song on this album, and it's one of my favorite Testament ballads ever. So overall, this is still a really good fucking album. 7.5 out of 10, but it's coming in at number 8. Up next at number 7 is The Gathering from 1999. This is a heavy-ass fucking album, but it doesn't lose its edge. It's way better than Demonic. This album has James Murphy on it. He came in after Skolnick left for a bit, and I fucking love James Murphy. I mean, he played on Spiritual Healing, played on Cause of Death, 2 of the best death metal albums ever. So you bring him into a band like Testament, and you gave him that little extra heavy edge, and his solos are fucking sick. And this is just a great album. DNR, Do Not Resuscitate, 3 Days in Darkness. Just fucking catchy riff after catchy riff, and I fucking really dig this album. 8 out of 10 easily, and that's why it's coming in at number 7. On to number 6, another James Murphy album is Low from 1994. this has some killer fucking tunes on it. It's kind of similar to The Gathering, where they brought in some death metal elements. Chuck Billy starts doing some growls, but he still does his clean singing too, which is great. The title track, Low, is awesome. Dogface Gods is really fucking cool. And another great-ass ballad, Trail of Tears. Absolutely love that song. Probably my favorite on the album. And I just really fucking dig it. But I couldn't let it crack my top 5 because the top 5 are almost untouchable. Just fucking great. Number 5, from 1989, I believe, is Practice What You Preach. I could easily put this higher. This is a classic Testament album. It's absolutely amazing. The title track, Practice What You Preach, catchy as all fuck. Sins of Omission, absolutely awesome. And speaking of ballads, how about The Ballad? Aptly titled, and it's fucking great. Absolutely love this album. Could easily be higher in this list, but for me, it's coming in at number 5. Up next at number 4 is by far my favorite of the modern era of Testament from 2008, The Formation of Damnation. This was like a serious comeback album. Alex Skolnick returned to the band, and whoa, he injected some life back into this. Like, I wasn't even sure if Testament was going to be putting out any more albums. I think the last one they had done was The Gathering in 1999, and they had kind of just stopped, almost a 10-year break, and then get news that The Formation of Damnation is coming out. And wow, I was floored by this album. Absolutely killer stuff. The riffs on here are nuts. The melodies, the solos are crazy. It's like a throwback to their old thrash days. And it's just fucking killer. The title track, The Formation of Damnation. The Persecuted Won't Forget, a great song. More Than Meets the Eye, another killer one. Just all in all, really good fucking album. That's why I have it ranked so fucking high. But now for my top 3. Coming in at number 3 from 1990 is Souls of Black. A lot of people don't like this album as much for some reason, but I fucking love it. It shreds. The riffs on here are nuts. The solos are absolutely amazing. Title track, Souls of Black, fucking killer. Falling Fast, The Legacy, Malpractice, Face in the Sky. Just fucking killer tune after fucking killer tune. And that's why I have it at number 3. But now down to my top 2, and they're the first 2 albums. Which one's going to be 2 and which one's going to be 1? Let's find out. Coming in at number 2 is the debut from 1987, The Legacy. Got the poster down there if you can see it. And I fucking love this album. What a debut. His vocals on here, he gets so high-pitched at sometimes, and I absolutely love it. It's like he's losing control. I love the vibe on this album. Over the Wall, Burnt Offering's one of my favorite riffs ever. Fuck, what a masterpiece that is. Curse of the Legions of Death, come on. First Strike is Deadly, that chorus, First Strike is Deadly. So fucking good. Apocalyptic City, Alone in the Dark. Like, these are all on the same fucking album. How don't I have this number 1? That's crazy. It's because number 1 has just as many fucking hits on it too. But before I get to that, yeah, The Legacy, great starting point if you've never got into Testament. Definitely go check it out. And also check out this next one, my number 1 album, favorite album by Testament, their second, The New Order. What a fucking classic thrash album this is. So many goddamn good songs. It and The Legacy, it's fucking close. They're both so good. This one edges it out just a little bit because the fucking hits. Into the Pit, one of my favorite thrash songs ever. Trial by Fire, the title track, The New Order. Eerie Inhabitants, Disciples of the Watch. Fuck, The Preacher. Oh man, like, come on. Just fucking classic song after classic song. Just a fucking 10 out of 10 thrash album. I absolutely love it. If you haven't heard it, please do yourself a favor and go listen to The New Order. Anyways, that's my list. Let me know down below what's your favorite Testament album. What's your least favorite? What'd you think of my video? Click on like. Click on subscribe. Until next time, Hammerheart Metal Reviews out.